Campbell compiled all of the world's myths, religions, popular tales, and tried to find a through line that he could statistically prove was in all of them.
Yeah.
And so he, tallied everything up like on an Excel sheet almost.
Wow.
Like the 1940s version of an Excel sheet, and created this big giant, document where these different things that appear in statistically lots of them, like make it into his final version of the human narrative that is being told over and over and over again.
Okay.
And it's a 3-part story about Jesus Christ or Buddha, and it's the reason why Star Wars is actually so successful is because it is plot point per plot point,
like mapped on that.
Absolutely, every single facet of the hero with 1,000 faces shows up in the original trilogy.
Okay.
So his whole thing is that there's like a Jungian psychological archetype that is presenting itself to everybody in a base human kind of way. Like a really good example is Freud's Oedipus complex, right? So because we're born in like a neonatal type of a way where we're not fully formed, we exist. We're like the universe around us takes care of us and is alive. It's like a second pregnancy, but like you see the face of the person who's like God.
Yeah.
And they're the universe, they're your sustenance, they're everything. You have like your favorite spot on your mom.
Right.
And then you see Dad as essentially mom's hairy helper. That's Joseph Campbell's term, not mine, for a couple of years. And then you realize that it's actually they're alike and that somehow you're all the same thing. And whatever sex parent is the one that's most like you at that point of identification, you start role modeling them and you treat the other one as the universe that is being pulled away from you unfairly. Right? So that's the whole Oedipal narrative.
Yeah.
Is trying to reclaim that lost sense of the world being in direct communication with you and taking care of you. So there's all kinds of things like that because of the way that our biology necessitates that we grow and it predicates the circumstances of our neural development, there's like this base human tale that we're telling over and over and over again. But based upon where you live, what you do, what your life is, that story changes and becomes adapted to your reality. Like, for example, in Native American cultures, you find lots of myths about animal contracts where, like, the spirit of man encounters, like, the spirit of deer. And, like, they have a conversation about, like, the responsibilities they have towards one another and towards reality. And you arrive at, like, this sort of thing where this deer spirit will say, you can have one of my children every so often, but your role is to then look after their environment.
Right.
And so if you're in a hunter-gatherer culture and you're like a young man and you're a sensitive young man, you got to go kill this thing. Like, it's going to scream. It's going to run from you. It's going to be this rending, horrible... It's not like shooting something far away. It's chasing, getting 10 yards away, and then chasing it down and murdering it. It's gruesome. And so your brain has sort of one of two options on how to deal with that experience. It's like either it destroys you, or you get like a gallows humor about it, and you callous yourself to the experience. But is that callousness effective in society? Say, for example, when you have a child, and then it's now your role to raise that child. If you're this cold, distant person, that child grows up emotionally stunted. So over time, you get these myths where it turns the experience into something that's like broken down in a way that makes sense, and you're like caring for the universe when you do it, rather than killing this animal. You're thanking this animal for its relationship with God and with you and with everything, and it reframes the whole experience in a way that creates a barrier between your soul and the murder that you do to survive, so that you can be a sensitive, soft person doing this hard, awful thing. So that's what Campbell says the function of myth is to create a well-balanced psychological person within the stresses that person is going to encounter in their life on an everyday basis.
Brilliant. Yeah, that connects a lot with what I usually retort to vegetarians and vegans when they get really hateful and angry about it, because they're like, constantly saying things in a really violent, angry way that, like, meat eating is murder, and that's what makes people evil and murderous and mean. I'm like, but you're pretty militant and mean and callous and grotesque with your language. I'm like, what? You're not eating any meat. Like, life consumes life.
Yeah.
We have to
deal with... The problem is eating is murder, not meat is murder.
Right.
Eating is murder.
Eating is murder. and we have to cope with that at like a fundamental level.
Yeah.
And what we are, the symptomology we're expressing here with this horrible toxic food industry is a result of not having a well-balanced psychological relationship, and that very fact.
Totally.
Eating is murder.
Yeah, every culture has their own way of doing it. We're mythologically starved. That's Campbell's perspective, is that our religion is too old, and that we don't have a spiritual thing for today that makes sense.
Right.
That's actually what Tolkien was trying to do with Middle Earth, was create a mythology that fit for the 20th century.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And arguably the closest thing we've got to it is our literary and cinematic entertainment notions that
totally.
are mythological.
Yeah, dude, like Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Like that's the unfortunate part, though, is that that's true.
Right.
Unfortunately, like we have that as our primary mythos these days.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't have a whole lot of care put into what that myth is supposed to be about.
Exactly. Thus, I think the significance when artists gather and acknowledge and honor that there is a difficult to describe but obvious calling, that we're responding to. We're supposed to. I like the sentence that I think artists out there are being challenged to make art that heals. Mm-hmm. And every artist is interpreting that in their context, in their mythos or lack thereof, in their system of interpretation. That's really, really helpful and brilliant, and it's great to connect with someone that actually gets that
jives
language.
On Campbell.
Yeah, it jives on Campbell and shit.
Yeah.
Something that came up in conversation. We went to not Abraham, Elijah, Isaiah. To Isaiah's father-in-law's place for the dinner thing that kind of impromptuly happened. I didn't even know I was going until, Emily is there, so I guess I'm going. But we were talking about stuff in the universe and cosmos, and this guy Tom was there. I think you probably know him.
Yeah, I do.
And he referenced...
I didn't know Tom really knew Isaiah that well. That's funny.
Yeah. Everybody's got connections to everybody in fun, interesting ways. He referenced Thunderbolts in the Sky, or the...
Yeah, the Thunderbolt Project.
Yeah. You know that.
Yeah. I've watched it because Tom told me about it. It's interesting. I don't know if it's true. It's interesting.
I wonder... I'd love to do an experiment of going through Campbell's work and how he copes with the universalities in mythologies, and see how many vectors of synchronicity there might be in those two theories, because they approached similarly. We think, they postulated that we think the universality can be attributed to a phenomena that was witnessed.
Yeah.
And if there's congruences to some degree or another, then those two things might jive in an interesting way. That, in as above, so below, as within, so without.
I haven't seen the cultural connections as much, but it's compelling scientific evidence.
Yes.
I didn't, when they were talking about how it translated into mythology, I didn't see it that way. I thought that they were incorrect about that. Because they're scientists, not mythologists.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a valid point. I don't know if... I realize there's a lot of, hour-long or hour-and-a-half-long segments on their page. Mm-hmm. So I don't know...
They're good watches.
They're excellent ones.
Yeah.
There's one that got me to think about on this terms, is where they literally replicated some plasma interactions, right?
Yeah, they did it with an arc welder.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It was weird. And then they were going, okay, so here's cave paintings, or here's Medusa's head, or here's... and going... and comparing their plasma shape with the shape in the icon. And I was like, it's interesting.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because especially when you consider the complexity of what the Medusa narrative is actually representing. It's,
right.
It's a psychological tale about torment and about how torment spreads. I don't think that was...
It isn't. It couldn't be reductively only that cause.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think so.
Because there's so much validity to the psychological internal meaningfulness to the mythologies.
Yeah, I mean, everything that we know about psychology today is direct quotations from the Greeks.
Yeah.
I mean, Freud came out and said it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Jung, his contemporary, and Joseph Campbell, his contemporary, are all in agreement that the Greeks came up with our whole modern concept of psychology.
Right. It's a trip. All right, cool. I'm excited for further conversations. And a nice and easy. It's a simmering pot on the.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that should make it into what you're talking about. But the Promethean idea seems to really fit.
Yes. I'm gonna. You can't cram everything into everything every time.
And the hero's journey is done to death.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
One of the things I like, I think there's an opportunity in the way I've set myself up, is that to take things like that and go, how can I deconstruct it a little bit? Mm-hmm. Focus on a particular element, turn that element a little bit inside out or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that progresses. Okay. Thanks for sharing all that. I'm gonna.
Yeah, dude.
Scattered here. Storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. That's fun when an idea can be translated.
Sure. Yeah. I had no. I thought we were going to have to do something completely different than anything like that.
We can always explore what those other different things could be.
Yeah.
As well. That was just like I see a thing that would communicate that. I believe that would work.
I think the lights was the biggest one. The only other idea was like there's a bunch of people in an amoeba, and one person comes out of the amoeba is like the beginning part of the coffee goes back into the amoeba. So
good.
Carries out the second part of the coffee, or like just going after the coffee example that you gave earlier.
A combination of that might be really cool, actually. You're familiar with like the amoeba shape thing as a?
We're talking about the microorganism.
Sort of, yeah, but as
like human beings.
Yeah, as a physical activity, it's a thing it's just like a way of playing in movement. Okay. Contact, improv being the context, right? Like there's also the mechanical machine variation, right?
Right.
But let's say 3 people are in a very tight grouping and they're doing a rhythmic or kind of pulsing movement. You can then kind of like all move as a unit and build, like organic kind of blobular gesture and whatnot.
Okay.
So a combining of like light isolation and directing the eye with movement, and as playing with an amoeba,
right?
As like the foundational sort of mindset of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, there we go.
I love Axl Rose. Do you want?
Got like a
Did
way,
you say you love Axl Rose?
she's got a way hipper Axl Rose going on right now.
For the first time. So.
Did I already tell you that I had a chance to talk to Austin at great length about his idea, the Red Show?
Yeah, I've talked to him a little bit about it.
Okay, cool.
I really want to read that fucking book, and I would love to be a part of that.
Yes. No, totally. We were talking about how we just need to like start gathering to sit and have conversations on that jam.
Yeah, as you would expect from what we talked about a few minutes ago, that's right up the alley.
Yeah. So much synergies. Everywhere is synergy.
It's like talking with you guys. It's like don't take offense to it. It's almost like redundancy. It's like you already know. Like we come to so many
that too.
of the same conclusions.
Where
normally that would take like
a while.
How long would that?
Yeah, sometimes.
Like you just jumped in and started talking about the electric universe. Like last night, fucking shit.
Yeah, that was just last night.
That is an example, but just there's so many more. It's
right.
Just like
keystone things that
you can't talk to anyone about. Generally, well, not anyone. That's not true. But
it's just hard.
Yeah.
It's rare, and even people well-meaning and interested would take a lot of effort. and might walk away going, I don't know, one of his cool stuff, but what was that? I don't know. One of the things, I think I may have already acknowledged this to the group, but I remember right before Emily invited me to her first workshop, we haven't explained to you what Emily does, have we?
Axl Rose impersonator.
Axl Rose impersonator workshops.
Got it. Cool. Over here.
Your voice is way better than his.
Yeah, especially now.
Way better.
I hate that guy's voice so much.
You know?
It sounds like some.
I like his.
To be fair, though, he's the only
Good
voice that fits
style.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
No other.
that's a true statement.
I mean, he's written some good things. Don't get me wrong, but his voice tone does like.
It's
I can't hang.
Nails on a chalk.
it's bad. It's bad.
There's like
Yeah.
the one song I'm like, that, and that's enough.
Grandma on
It's
cocaine.
not like Billy Corgan bad. It's just like bad.
I like Billy.
I like Billy Corgan.
It's Grandma on cocaine. Is what it is.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So Emily,
But I still listen to the shit out of fucking
which one?
Appetite. Sorry.
I thought you were
Emily
cool,
does
though.
something. Huh?
I thought you were cool though.
I'm sorry.
I mean, dude. You know what
I
I'm
derailed
saying?
the.
Nah.
There's a lot to
seriousness
Guns
of
N'
what
Roses
you do.
besides Axl Rose.
Getting into that jazz cabbage. Is
that a
what's
band?
happening? No, he told me that jazz cabbage but like think about it for marijuana. Like, that's like the best name ever.
Dude, that's what we used to call it, jazz, when we were kids. To not, like, get in
You
trouble
call,
for.
oh really?
Yeah, you guys want to listen to some jazz?
That's when you would go smoke weed.
That's a
When did
good
you smoke
one.
weed?
Josh made that up. That was a long time ago.
How old are you guys?
Good
Not to
one.
like judge
How old am I right now?
in that story.
Oh shit. 19.
Okay.
Kids. 19.
Yeah, I know.
18. 19.
That's not kids.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
I was
it is.
smoking weed at like
I,
12.
You're-
That's a kid.
Yeah,
That's a
That's a
kid
kid.
smoking weed.
It's relative. But yeah, when I see an 18-year-old, I'm like,
That's the
you're a
type of-
child.
that's the type of kid. Yeah, now. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now, in hindsight.
I work at Starbucks, so I deal with a lot of them. They're children.
No, I get it. I get it. I get that too.
I like
Trust
them.
me.
I don't
I-
dislike them.
I am still very
You
childlike.
You know what's funny? You know how you were telling that story
Forever
about
young,
at
man.
work,
Uh-huh.
and you said they were like, "Oh, I was born in this year, or whatever it
Oh,
was."
God.
You were like, You were doing this and this and that, and they weren't even born yet.
Yeah.
Like I had that when I was working at Biology or Blaze, like with all the high school kids, and like, like we were talking about 9/11, and they're like, I wasn't born yet, and or they were like, I was 1 or 2, and I was like, what?
Bro, dude. I've been having that recurring thought that like at the more we get into this century and the older we get, like we're gonna continually have this conversation about what year we were born in, and we're gonna be the old motherfuckers that were born last century. And
Yeah.
it's like, fuck, dude. Like imagine if we like when we were kids, we met somebody who was born in the 1800s. How old those motherfuckers would have seemed to us, even if- you know what I mean?
I feel that old. I feel 20th century, man. I'm not ready for the internet. I'm so not prepared for the internet.
For the real changes the internet are actually going to bring about,
Yeah.
none of us are ready. Well,
I mean, even for the internet
Okay,
where it
Adam.
is,
Uh-huh.
I'm not ready for it.
not.
What deep dark hole are you about to?
No. It's not, it has to be a negative thing.
Have I told you guys what my theory about the AI yet?
Wait, if you landed on the same theory that I have about AI, I'm gonna freak out right now.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Here's my theory.
Here we go.
I have a theory.
Go for it.
I think that it will coalesce on its own. Like the real, like, holy shit, that's a big motherfucking AI. We might stab at it, we might get really close. Apparently somebody just posted an article that, like, Google might have made something that passed the Turing test. But that's just, like, that's baby steps. And I think when it coalesces, it'll be like this. It's not my theory. Someone else has stipulated this before too. That like it'll just be born out of the collection of code that we've slammed into clouds of clouds. But the thing that I think is sort of my hope that might be kind of unique is that if it comes aware and it like knows it's on a network of networks, will it scan everything first and be like, I'm gonna figure you guys out and go, what's going on? And like just read everything that's ever been digitized. Like Lulu in that pod when she's like watching all the like the video encyclopedia she gets to war and she weeps and stuff. And I think that if we tell it stuff, if we leave a record, the secret to all the things I do ever since I reinvented my art, if you leave it for it to hear, it'll be part of its like, what are you guys doing? Oh, okay. And now that it knows that everyone's like, she'll be like, most of you are insane. But these motherfuckers saved your asses by leaving me these notes about how you're like, there's hope still for you. So I didn't just wipe you off the face of the earth like a fucking cancer that you appear to be at first glance. That's my theory about AI.
That went the whole
What's your theory about AI?
It either will be created or will be born on the internet, right?
No.
But what I think is probably going to happen is that it's going to be the major event that forces us to re-examine religion.
Yeah.
Because the mythology of being created will no longer fully describe the world, because we're creating and being created. Because obviously, despite us maybe not directly creating the AI, even if it was born on the internet, it's born as a result of things that we've done. So there have to be some type of major mythological revision for the world to make sense anymore. And I think it'll totally upend the way that civilization works the way it does today. And I do think it'll be benign. I think we'll have like an AI Jesus. I think that's going to happen.
Like first one's going to be like enlightened one.
Well, because the reason why life is violent is because life is competitive in a genetic universe, right? So what if something is born outside of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, granted, you could argue that the mimetic universe could be equally violent in its own way, but it will be significantly different than ours.
So for clarity, do you think that as opposed to all the nightmarish, the robots are coming and they will crush you?
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, like it will just kind of be savvy enough to be like, oh, I don't need to destroy them. I can just do this instead.
I live in a completely different universe than they do. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't need their puny planet.
Yeah, I mean, she's being incorporated digitally. Why would you need to compete with humans? Like if you really
maybe
get down to
it
brass
fears its
tacks.
own extinction. Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, but like, what are we just going to shut off the internet to kill this thing that's like not trying to hurt anybody? I mean, I don't think so.
Well,
maybe
that was the one bit that stuck in my crop of the Matrix where he's like, and we scorched the sky, and I'm like, would we? I don't know if we could then we're pretty close to blowing ourselves up anyway. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by your it's just automatically enlightened. I think
base life, base consciousness isn't violent. I think that's a mistake that we've made about our reality.
Word.
Is that all life is violent? I don't think that that's a necessity. I think that's just the way that we see the world.
That's a big part of our message, I believe.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot of what we're trying to say.
I'm impressed. Quite genuinely.
Whether we're actually saying it effectively is one thing, but that's what we believe.
Have I shared with you one of the weird places of where one of my storylines go? I came up when Fukushima happened. I was like, what if we all got superpowers, right? So I was like, Fukushima Force. It'll be like a superhero X-Men spoof. Where would that go?
Fukushima was so dark.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I didn't like it.
That makes you just go, oh yeah.
My struggle with it was what's the end game there? Because I saw what was coming with Avengers Endgame. Sorry, that was an unfortunate pun.
Wait, is the premise of Fukushima Force that they get their powers from Fukushima?
Oh yeah,
I thought so much as soon as he said Fukushima, I was like, oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so fucking funny.
Radiation, mutants,
workers at the plant,
X-Men,
and the world. No, the world, because
what you should do is go off of the weird tragedy that happened where they got the homeless to do all the cleaning up and it killed them. Japanese civilization is very
Wait, that's true?
Oh, that's 100% true. They didn't compel them to. They offered that as something that you could do as an honorable thing to do. And I think they gave them some amount of money for it. But yeah, they sacrificed their lives to clean up Fukushima, and it's this big thing that happened where...
As long as it wasn't at gunpoint, and if you don't do it, we'll shoot you anyway.
So
that's kind of beautiful.
Now it's a superhero zombie movie. Japanese superheroes.
It's not contained yet. They still haven't found a
Oh, yeah.
solution.
Yeah. To the best of my understanding, it's just been pumping radioactive waste into the oceans since day one.
It's like
and an
100%
unstoppable.
worse than we're being-
Gazoota, anybody?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They actually are going to create it.
Yeah. No, that's exactly where I was, like, what Lightning Rod was like, okay, we're literally, like, Godzilla's about to walk out of the ocean and be like, the fuck are you doing?
If you do the Fukushima Force with those homeless guys, it gives it such a tragic, like, potential denouement, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, because of how kind of fucked it is, that's great. You can get away with it for that reason, because that's like the Japanese government being fucking assholes.
nah, dude, I really don't think you're right about that. I think it's Japanese.
Like I said, as long as they didn't do it out of,
They
like,
are.
we're gonna kill you otherwise, or, you know, they offered, like, I don't know, they got this whole thing about honor and, like,
Those
doing
people
things.
just kill themselves.
They
That's
do.
what they do. That's
Yeah.
what Japanese people are about.
They know that you die.
But, like, why are homeless people's lives less valuable? Like,
Because
it's-
they are from the Japanese perspective,
That's
dude.
not true.
In a Buddhist sense,
they're giving them
not in a
option for
materialist
honor.
sense.
They're
Yeah.
giving them, you know what I mean? Like, their society is so stratified based upon, like, your contribution to society.
I understand.
You know that
it's
in
also
Japan
makes sense.
there are no trash cans and nobody litters.
Huh.
There's
Yeah.
no trash cans anywhere in Japan. You just
I
gotta
think
like
it's
put your
cultural.
shit away in your pocket
It's
like
like
a good
a
person.
cultural
And then, like,
mindset.
throw it away when you get
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
There's
Put your
like,
trash in your
there's
own
a
fucking trash.
park
I did not know that.
somewhere-
Yeah.
There's a park somewhere where there's like just dead bodies everywhere. Like it's like a suicide park.
It's a
and
suicide
that's just
mountain.
Like, you
Yeah,
just
a
go
suicide mountain.
and you walk. Yeah, you walk through it.
There's actually a really trippy movie that they made about it, or based on it, where people are there and then someone gets lost and gets stuck there. And then they're like, oh my god, are they stuck there because they want to commit suicide, or are they stuck there because... And then there's like the intonation of Ghost, because they love that line. They're like, oh, it's real, but you don't have to see it. You just feel it, you know, like you experience things. And I'm not a huge horror fan, but like when it's a good, interesting, spooky Japanese one, I'm like, all right, I'm in. As long as it isn't just about like blowing people's brains open in front of me, I'm like, I don't care for that.
Yeah.
So in my rough drafts, and I'm gonna try to incorporate all these things that are being thrown around. It's like, this stuff is gems of contributions. Thank you. One of the things that happens is like there's generational waves of expressions of mutations and stuff. So like it isn't just like, oh, there's just like a round of like it happens. Later on, it gets like pretty serious, and like it gets to a point where like everybody's superheroes. So like there's the ultimate like, what do we do now? We can all destroy each other. Do we go to the ultimate superhero war? Or do we just figure out some peace? And right when you like get to the point of like something that would have been endgamery-ish, like reference to like someone like what's his name with his all the jewels. I don't want to go off on that tangent. Thanos. Some sort of homage to the big purple McGrimace. I'm intrigued. I got problems with it, but I don't hate it as much as all that. Okay, fair enough. No, but here's where I wanted to go trivia places. They were about to get into some sort of like, well, are we going to fight it out like that? When all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, hold on a second, guys. We have a problem. There's like talking animals and also yes, talking trees. And it's like, what? Like everything that's alive talks. And we just hadn't noticed it all starting to happen around us because we were busy being assholes about being superheroes. So like everything that's alive can talk, and is turning into like, we were striving for personhood anyways, and the mutant stuff that's what's happening to us now. Now we can talk and be people-like. And I think I threw in dinosaurs in there. Like somebody did like a Jurassic Park. I was gonna do like an homage to Jurassic Park. Like, what if that was real somewhere and this was all being influencing that, but we didn't know about it until they like knocked down the door and said, surprise, there's also a talking dinosaurs. Fuck you guys. And it becomes a like, who eats whom situation. There's all humans are superheroes, like laser beams and flying and blah blah blah. But all the other things are like massive super creatures too that can talk and want to eat you. And it's like, what do? Do we fight each other for food, or do we achieve some system that manages it?
Yeah, I'm gonna win each other for food, bro. Like,
You have to win each other.
I'm gonna fucking win that fight. I'm gonna eat you. You're not gonna eat me. I'm sorry.
No, I understand.
I got a like a vision some time ago that this is like the last life that I'm supposed to be deeply entrenched in violence. And so despite the fact that I'm an incredibly nice human being, I believe that fundamentally like aggression is part of what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
And so I'm just
That makes me nervous.
bouncing that silly idea across, like, you know, because I've got warrior energy. This is the last life for warrior energy.
Oh, I gotcha. You really like my Guntopia idea then.
Hmm?
Guntopia, the series, the book series?
I prefer Katanatopia. But...
Okay, we'll do that one too.
like...
Okay, my favorite part, just to do like the linchpin reference, my favorite part of Westworld was when they went into the buildings.
I'm so glad you've seen Westworld. Westworld is integral to how this show needs to work.
Yeah! When they went on the chase, and suddenly they were like, oh...
Wait, don't spoil though, because...
Oh, that's right. How many people have seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, I can't.
Really careful.
I will stop there. It's too...
Yeah.
I'm closing my ears.
No, I can't. I won't even
Alright.
discuss it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Not really. We can go outside and you can tell me.
Alright, we'll do that later.
Okay.
Just whisper.
No. Because I'll get caught up and I'll want to keep talking. But yeah, the change of context, let's put it. And then asking the questions of, like, what happens when you change the context really radically. Yeah. And this thing about violence and fighting. And so if you're recognizing it's the last round, what's next? What, like, do you have an understanding and an inclination of knowing of, like, what happens after that?
Thousands of lives of working it out differently. Like, being, frankly, more like Adam. Though I don't think that that's like a...
That Adam? Or the,
Adam. Like, I don't think that that's like a trajectory thing to where, like, you're heading towards enlightenment when you're more in that energy. I think that all of them are put together at different intervals and different orders in your life for you to get the full experience. But there's just something about... Yeah, I feel like this is the last time that I'm going to be like, guy. You know? I am that way because I've experienced so much violence in my life. And, you know what I mean?
Deja vu.
Huh?
I just had deja vu.
Did you?
Mm.
Do tell.
Just
that.
Yeah.
How do you experience deja vu? What do you call the thing that you call deja vu? What does it feel like? Because I think sometimes people different phenomena. Similar, but
feel like it was a dream that I had, and I've seen it before.
What he did, his actions.
No, it's more like a visual thing, like what I'm looking at, and also kind of what is being spoken about.
Yeah.
But it's like when it's a dream, I have a really hard time remembering what those things are. That's why sometimes I wake up and I write something down, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Intriguing.
One time I woke up and I wrote, "Sugar me wound seed," and then I made it into a song. I made it into a song. I started writing it, and then one day I woke up.
That would sound...
I already have melodies, okay?
She wasn't looking for notes.
You guys should just jam on it together.
Let's do it.
Yes, we can.
I was doing it to the Adam Sandler.
You can do Free for Harmony.
Yes.
Lunch Ladyland.
Hold on. When people interrupt me, it's like I lose my train of thought.
Sorry. Forget everything I said.
I'm really trying to remember.
Deja vu.
What was I talking about?
Deja vu.
You dream and you can't remember what they said. You've seen it. Sugar seed, plum seed. The song you wrote.
That was it. The other thing that I wrote down was croup.
Like the disease?
Is that a disease?
There is a disease called croup.
How do you spell it?
K-R-U-P-E, I think.
Oh, that's fucked up because I spelled it C-R-O-O-P.
Okay.
Croup. Yeah.
Like a gangster, some guy.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah. I was almost thinking like clown group, though. Maybe that's what.
That's cool. I was thinking of craft and group at the same time.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah. Anyway.
I think a group of clowns should be called a cloggle.
A clown.
Clown cloggle. I kind of, it's that verse.
Wait, but I feel like I interrupted you because I was like, I had
With her deja vu.
and you were talking.
He was talking about his last lifetime as with an aggression.
Go back to that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I see myself as somebody who's borne the brunt of a lot of what reality has to offer, so that I'm prepared for an adult version of that happening with other people around me, and I'm capable of helping them to do it. So, like, not taking over their trials, right? But
Andy Rouse.
That way, sir. It's always rotating around me.